All 10 U.S. Navy aircraft carriers are in port for the next week. No carrier is operating anywhere in the world. If someone were to attack the United States, our aircraft carriers would be sitting ducks. This is not fake news. This has been completely verified by several sources, and we have them linked below this video. For the next week, not only will there be no U.S. Navy aircraft carriers in the world or in the Middle East deployed anywhere, but there will be no American aircraft carriers deployed at sea anywhere else in the world, despite a host of worldwide threats facing the United States. The carrier USS Dwight D. Eisenhower and her strike group returned to Norfolk, Virginia Friday following a 7-month deployment. The Ike launched hundreds of airstrikes against ISIS in Iraq and in Syria from both the Mediterranean Sea and the Persian Gulf. 2 destroyers in the Ike's strike group also saw combat. The USS Neitz and the USS Mason were attacked in the Red Sea when Iranian-backed forces in Yemen launched cruise missiles, which were intercepted by the Mason. A retaliatory strike by the Neitz destroyed the radar installations in Yemen in October. The Eisenhower's replacement carrier, the USS George H.W. Bush, was deployed by more than 6 months in the shipyards and will not be able to replace the Ike until early next year, according to Navy officials. While there is no U.S. aircraft carrier in the Middle East right now, there is a large deck U.S. Navy amphibious assault ship with thousands of Marines on board, as well as helicopters and some jets to respond to crisis, according to officials. In the meantime, the Navy has reported that the U.S. military has other jets available to make up for the aircraft carrier gap in the Middle East and elsewhere in the world. The Navy can also surge a carrier now in port to deploy if necessary, but the absence of a deployed U.S. Navy aircraft carrier, long seen as a symbol of American power projection, is noteworthy. It is believed to be the first time since World War II that at least one U.S. aircraft carrier has not been deployed somewhere in the world. We're not going to discuss the timing of the operational movements of the carrier strike groups into and out of U.S. Central Command area of responsibility, said Captain Terry Shannon, a U.S. Naval Forces Central Command spokesman. In a statement to the public, CENTCOM is tasked with control over all U.S. forces in the Middle East and Afghanistan. It is not the first time that there has been a carrier gap in the Middle East. Last fall, the U.S. Navy relied on a French aircraft carrier to fill the void when the USS Theodore Roosevelt returned home. At the time, it was the first gap in carrier coverage in the Middle East since 2007. Other factors contribute to U.S. Navy not having aircraft carriers deployed anywhere in the world right now. From 2011 to 2013, the U.S. maintained 2 carriers in the Persian Gulf on the orders of CENTCOM's then Commander General James Mattis, who is now President-elect Donald Trump's pick for Defense Secretary. Whatever the case may be, the United States has no aircraft carriers deployed anywhere in the world. This is actually potentially dangerous since China's been trying to flex its muscles over the Pacific. And this time, China can take Taiwan, and if they choose, Japan too. North Korea can take South Korea, Russia can take Ukraine, and the Arabs can all go attack Israel if they wanted to. By the time the US is able to respond to any of that, it will be all over. What do you think? Is Obama setting the United States up for an attack, or is this all blown out of proportion? Leave your comments below this video. Thanks for watching.